welcome to a new episode of Cultural Magazine, where we bring you the latest cultural events taking place around the nation when it comes to different forms of art, music, and poetry. Let's go take a look.
The tomb of Tutankhamun is considered one of the most important and famous discoveries of the kings who ruled ancient Egypt and gained great international fame, not only for his military achievements. The most important reason for it being distinct is the discovery of his entire tomb and treasures in a holistic manner. That is, it was not damaged or stolen as what happened in other discoveries. The young king Tutankhamun ascended the throne of Egypt in 1334 BC. That is, when he was 9 years old, and ruled until his death at the age of 18 or 19. King Tut ruled Egypt during a transitional period in its history as he came after Akhenaten, who tried to unify the gods of ancient Egypt. Yet during his reign, there was a return to the worship of many gods of ancient Egypt. Akhenaten's name was not mentioned in the main lists of the kings of Egypt compared to others who preceded him, and almost nothing was known about him until Howard Carter discovered his tomb in 1922. This discovery caused widespread uproar at the time throughout the world because of the antiquities and treasures it contained that had not been found before, which made him one of the most famous kings with his funerary processions. On the other hand, Tutankhamun's tomb was distinguished by many collectibles and golden funerary furniture, which made archaeologists call him the Golden King. The museum also compromised an archival photographs collection of King Tut's tomb, Ankh-Amun, in the Valley of the Kings, which show the stone that closed the entrance to the tomb and some of the funerary furniture that was found inside of it. King Tutankhamun's tomb is unique because of its complete condition at the time of its finding. The cemetery contained a large variety of treasures and antiquities, including the fine furniture, the crockery, the statues, and jewelry, as well as wooden coffins that contain the remains of the king. The tomb of King Tutankhamun is also an important historical finding of the 18th dynasty ancient Egyptian history. Although Tutankhamun from Amun was a young king who ruled for a short time, yet his cemetery still has its unique effects as it revealed a lot of information about ancient Egyptian civilization to the world, relating the lifestyle and art of that period. Overall, the tomb of King Tutankhamun is considered a landmark witness to ancient Egyptian civilization and its history. This tomb holds great riches and secrets that continue to impress the world to this day. On the 7th anniversary of its reopening, the Qom Ushim Museum is organizing a number of events. Director General of the museum, Dr. Mamdouh al-Shawki, explained that the activities include holding free guidance tours for Egyptian visitors to the museum, in addition to an artistic workshop for coloring gypsum with decorations of Islamic arts. Methods for the implementation of these artistic activities are presented by the restoration specialist, Dr. Mahmoud Helmi at the Qom Ushim Museum. The Qom Ushim Museum is located at the entrance to the famous archaeological village of Karnis, which is full of many Greek and Roman antiquities. The museum is considered a simple and clear model for museums of archaeological sites. It was established in 1974, and at that time it included artifacts found in the Qom Ushim area. Later on, the built areas of the museum were developed in 1993, and an upper floor was added to it in 2006, which was later closed for renovation. The museum includes 312 pieces of antiquities that are displayed according to the historical sequence starting from the ancient era until the Islamic times. The museum display scenario also addresses the Fayoum Governorate with the customs and traditions of its residents since ancient times, together with the religious thought embraced by the people of the Governorate throughout the various historical eras in the city of Fayoum, which is unique in its crafts and industry from ancient times to present day.
We're here at the Cairo Opera House, the powerhouse of all that is to do with arts. We have a lot in store for you in this episode, and it's all about the Cairo Opera House, so stay tuned.
For the first time, the legendary Tchaikovsky Symphony Orchestra performed on the big stage at the Cairo Opera House, where the concert also included the young professional violinist Amira Abu Zahra accompanying the orchestra in a dazzling classy performance that was appreciated by the Egyptian and Russian audience.
Actually, the Tchaikovsky orchestra is one of the best orchestra in Russia, and especially they are from St. Petersburg, and the conductor is one of the famous conductor all over the world and all of the time, and it is my pleasure to perform me the musical moment with also the legend, the very talented girl, Amira, the violinist. She's so young, she's 15 maybe or something like that, and she's one of the best violinists, not only in Egypt but all over the world in her age.
The orchestra played some musical moments for the great Egyptian composer Ragah Dawood, some Rimsky-Korsakov's work, including Shahrazad, The Sea and Sinbad's Ship, The Story of the Calendar Prince, The Young Prince and the Young Princess, and The Festival of Baghdad, in addition of a violin concerto performance by the young professional international violinist Amira Abu Zahra.
It is very important to have this exchange, musicians and art between us and other countries, especially country like Russia, because it's very important country for the art and especially for music. I think this is one of the best things all the mas'ulin, people can do it for our culture, to show the others our capacity and to نستفيد يعني to benefit from them through this kind of concerts in Egypt or outside Egypt.
The Tchaikovsky Symphony Orchestra, originally the Grand Symphony Orchestra of All Union Radio and Center Television, was founded in 1930 as the first symphony orchestra of the Soviet Union. It has repeatedly proved its right to be one of the world's best orchestra as a result of fruitful cooperation with remarkable Russian conductors such as Alexander Orlov, Nikolai Golavanov, Sergei Prokofiev, and many others, yet Vladimir Fedosiev has been an unchallenged artistic director and chief conductor of the orchestra since 1974.
I think the Opera House is the most important place, beside other places like now, like the center art center in the Alexandrina Biblioteca, also one of the best places to show and have the capacity and the opportunity to show the Egyptian public Also the foreigners who living in Egypt or through the abroad broadcasting in the other eastern or western Europe, to show them that we are in the same level.
I'm German. I'm living next to Paris, and I'm spending my holidays here in Egypt. And when I saw the concert, I wanted to go because to see the legend. Well, I try to visit some opera houses in the world, and this is one of the most beautiful opera houses here in Cairo. Yeah, I've did the Alder Museum, Modern Art, and the tourist quarters and the downtown, uptown. I did everything.
We wanted to visit Cairo Opera, and suddenly we discovered that this orchestra will come, and of course we bought these tickets, so we are here, and I think, I hope, and maybe exactly so I know that it will be something amazing. Visited Russian ballet, Sleeping Beauty, in this winter. Yes, it was amazing, of course. Yeah, we liked it very much.
For me, I've always loved music and all from all composers, and just attending a different experience for a different orchestra, or just seeing the diversity, that interpretation that I get from it, is just something I enjoy very much. I've been playing piano since I was 6 years old, and since I was 15, I started participating in the Trinity College exam in London. I achieved the ATCL diploma. I played a concert in Sayat al-Sawi once when I was in my 20s, but since then I've been teaching now. The emotions that you can actually get from playing the piano, and whatever you're feeling, like when you're feeling happy or you're feeling sad, and you're just playing, and how you feel that the music that you're playing is actually relayed onto the people that are listening, and that they can tell the difference between who is playing. That is something that just I pour my heart out into it. Yes, I believe that piano is the base, and even whenever they start in opera and they want to adjust or tune make sure their instruments are finely tuned, they tune it on the on the piano. So I believe it is the base, and it's also the base of which music was initiated at first. So yeah, I believe so too. Yes, of course, I've known about Chopin Piano Competition. It's the biggest piano competition in the world, and I've aspired to participate in such a competition. However, due to recent events, I haven't had the time to be able to practice for such a big competition. But I mean, it's going on such a competition is a dream. Diversity itself is enriching. I mean, when you listen to a composer such as Chopin, he's Polish, and his music gives you a different feeling to it. Like, it's more of a romantic style. And then you listen to a composer like Rachmaninoff, and his music is so deep and so sad. It's very melancholic, and just listening to each of them, depending on the mood that you're feeling, is just something extravagant. Especially when you're listening from different pianists or different orchestras, and you can actually notice the difference in the interpretation, and you get a different feeling. So you can actually tell, yes, I prefer this orchestra over the other one, even if they're playing the same piece, yet your ears can tell the difference. And that's the beauty of music.
Classic music generally refers to the art music of the Western world. It is one of the oldest, longest-lived musical genre that will never go out of style, and you will never stop listening to some of the most famous pieces by great conductors like Chopin, Mozart, Tchaikovsky, and many other conductors whom engraved their names in the field of one of the most classy art. Shuruq Bikir, Cultural Magazine.
Egypt's heritage is full and rich of many different aspects, and today we're going to be focusing on the architectural heritage of Egypt and how throughout the decades and centuries things have changed here in Egypt. Let's go find out.
Beit al-Razaz is a historic residential complex located in the district of Darb al-Ahmar, where the heritage conservation has contributed to revitalization efforts over the last decade. Beit al-Razaz Palace is a mansion in the heart of medieval Cairo, Egypt, constructed from the late 15th century through the late 18th century. The 190-room urban palace in the Darb al-Ahmar neighborhood of medieval Cairo was abandoned in the 1960s, but a restoration project rehabilitated the eastern building between 1977 and 2007. The property belongs to the Ministry of State for Antiquities, which has plans to restore the western complex. Ahmad Kadkhudad al-Razaz, the heir of a wealthy Ottoman rice merchant, created the complex in the late 18th century by joining two adjacent palaces. The building that now forms the eastern half of Beit al-Razaz is commonly attributed to the Mamluk Sultan Qaitbay, whose reign transformed the urban landscape of Cairo in the late 15th century. The western half is a slightly newer addition, probably constructed in the Mamluk or later Ottoman era. The two buildings were remodeled to form an extensive four-story complex containing more than 190 rooms. The complex is oriented around two courtyards with a small street frontage that belies the extent of what lies behind it. Beit al-Razaz is a highly intact survivor of this type of urban palace and is intimately associated with the history and evolution of residential life in one of the world's greatest cities. It preserves many spectacular interior spaces, including the largest surviving mandara or reception hall in Cairo. In the 19th century, Beit al-Razaz was transformed into a high-occupancy residential complex, but it has been vacant since the 1960s. There are significant Mamluk remnants to both buildings. The first eastern house incorporates a palace built by Sultan Qaitbay in the 15th century, with a doorway dated to around 1480 and bearing the court torches of Qaitbay remaining in the eastern courtyard. An Ottoman Qa'a or lobby at the second level overlooks the Shara al-Tibbana or Tibbana Street, which has painted wooden ceilings, restored colored windows, and elaborate mashrabiyya. The second Western house has the only surviving maq'ad in its courtyard, and a large, likely Mamluk-era qa or lobby sits at ground level of the courtyard. The hall is in ruinous condition but still has remnants of its former magnificence, including a 4-meter-high cornice, a central fountain, and painted ceilings. The side iwans have mashrabiyya galleries.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Cultural Magazine. Hope you enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for more here on Nile TV.